Hello everybody and welcome to this week's episode of the Ephemeral or TTRPG series. Last time a bunch of things happened and I'll be reading the recap to remind you all of what has happened. But before that, dear viewers, usual reminder, this episode is posted on my channel, Teeironor. The next episode shall be posted on Skoll Shorties channel. All our links are in the description below. And the episode after that shall be posted on Sir Thompshire's channel. Again, all links are in the description below. Then back on mine, then Skoll, and so on and so forth in perpetuity. I have now enslaved all of you. Don't quote me on that. And, well, as usual, I'd very much like to ask these lovely people to introduce themselves. And I think we should start. Zelris is rolling stuff in the background and showing up in the audio, so please ignore that.
No.
Yeah, I'd like to ask DoomGoblin to introduce himself. Could you please go ahead?
Hello, it's me, DoomGoblin. Today I play Captain Bladebeard, a pirate.
And no other introductions are necessary, I guess.
Yeah, the smart guy of the group.
Guess you could say that. Next up, the least smart guy, come to think of it, yeah. Next up on the list would be Zelris. Could you please go ahead?
My name is Zelris, and I play a Wood Elf pirate.
It's interesting that you self-identify as a pirate, I suppose.
It's just a bit.
Also, dear viewers, just as a bit of an FYI, Zelris unfortunately has to join us on mobile this session, so that's why you might her audio might seem a little bit off, but she'll be back regular as soon as possible. Next up on the list, according to the dice, would be Sir Thompshire.
Hello. As always, I'm playing Benjamin Aaran, a traveling sellsword, and like everyone around him, is now a hostage of our very dear friend Zulgaga.
Very dear indeed. And the first person who got taken hostage last session, Skoll, could you please go ahead and introduce your character?
Yes, I can. I am first mate Buhd. I have been captured by Zulgaga after a failed attempt at taking a ship.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. So, what happened last time? Well, to begin the recap, the battle for Golden Skoll rages on as the Blackwater Raiders stage a desperate evacuation. First mate, or Captain Buhd, rejoined the Sunsurge twins and, with his Buhd Buccaneers, launched a desperate attack against one of the invading undead ships. Unfortunately, after being knocked unconscious, Buhd, his remaining Buccaneers, and the Weasel were taken captive by the enemy. The ground itself then rumbled as Zulgaga's forces were able to resurrect their creature behind the eponymous Golden Skoll, a long-deceased black dragon. Meanwhile, Captain Bladebeard, his iron companions, and Marjani, with her crew, continued the struggle against another undead ship, captained by Bladebeard's old second mate, Cherry. After some insistence from Zalatath, Bladebeard defeated Cherry, and the blade transformed the goblin into a faithful servant. The undead subsequently abandoned the fight, and Bladebeard was able to turn his newly acquired ship back to Golden Skoll. On the isle itself, Benjamin Aaran, Lyri Roseguard, and Archmage Meridia, later joined by their crewmate Johnny, were able to defeat the remnants of the undead crew they had detonated, for lack of a better term, previously. After reuniting with Bladebeard, the group once again disagreed on the dwarfs' alliance with Zalatath and went their separate ways as Zulgaga's forces closed in. Benjamin, Lyri, Meridia, and Johnny teleported themselves on Baron Revogaz's ship. Unfortunately for them, the resurrected dragon quickly flew towards the fleeing ships and, by projecting Zulgaga's voice, demanded everyone surrender, to which the reluctant Baron agreed. Bladebeard and his companions confronted a member of Zulgaga's troop, an undead orc wielding green fire, but also great, come to think of it, who also projected Zulgaga's voice. The dwarf agreed to wait for the arrival of the troll witch herself to discuss matters, while planning to stab her in the back. However, at the last moment, the blade Zalatath betrayed the dwarf and allowed itself to be taken by Zulgaga. All of Bladebeard's companions, except the Iron Dwarf Frignir, promptly switched allegiances, and the two of them also found themselves taken prisoner. So, I've going back into like the proper order of events, so to say. Dear viewers, you usually know that we like start our sessions like right after the events of the previous session, sort of flowing into them. However, I like discussed things with our players, and we think it's better that we start after like a 20 to 30 minute time skip, because, well, what's going to happen is now that Zulgaga has everyone taken prisoner, she is going to like shift the crews of the ships around, basically, so that the Blackwater Raider ships aren't so overcrowded, and that, well, she can station her guards aboard the ships. And DoomGoblin, I'm going to remove control of your token if you keep doing that. Sorry. But, I'm just joking. But before, like, we do the proper time skip, I'd like to get everyone's in-character thoughts while, like, the prisoner transfers are happening. Let's go in, like, the order that you see on, like, the top left portion of your screen, aka the player order. So, Benjamin, and, well, Lyri, since you're with Benjamin, you're aboard Baron Revelgaz's ship, and he has just surrendered to Zulgaga. Like I mentioned, what's going to happen in like the next 30 minutes or so is that some prisoner transfers are going to take place. Benjamin, you're holding like the unconscious Archmage in your arms. What else do you do in like this period of time?
I guess I'll try to keep an eye on what's going on around me. It's what kind of people they're putting on the boat, what kind of people they're taking out. Zulgaga's forces, things like that, and spotting if I see people I know. It's good, that's, you know, a bit useful.
Sure. Give me a careful. Your stunt would apply, and I'll give you. Okay, you got a 6. With a 6, I can tell you that Zulgaga's minions are like, as I mentioned, they're like transferring prisoners so that the Blackwater Raider ships aren't so overcrowded. You managed to pick up on that. And you pick up that they're not like picky about who they transfer. They like send people, well, who almost randomly, like that group of people move to that ship, etc., etc. And the guardsmen they send over are your standard undead crewmen that you've also seen before. Of the people you like know, because Kyrie's crew was on Baron Revelgaz's ship, most of them get like separated. Nazaga and a bunch of other people remain on the Baron's ship. Grunvask, just because he's tall and probably they think he's more dangerous, he's taken aboard one of the undead ships, and the other crewmen are like randomly scattered across the ships, if that makes sense. Are you looking for someone in particular?
Not necessarily. But one question. So I don't notice anyone being taken in particular, as in they pick someone out like very specifically. I don't see any of that, right?
You will see, because if you're careful. But before that will happen, I will also ask for Lyri's reaction. But so again, you will see that some of the undead are like talking, and one of them, who appears to be like sort of in charge, points in the direction of you and Lyri, and like 2 of the mooks go in your direction. But before that will happen, Lyri, what are you doing in this like timeline? Period of time?
I'm doing nothing. I'm just kind of freaking out a little bit.
Understandable. 90% of the people around you are freaking out, and the energy is very like palpable on that point.
I'm not cool like Benjamin. I can't analyze a situation.
To your credit, you told Benjamin last session to pick up the Archmage or she would get trampled, so good on you for that at least. But yeah, Benjamin, Lyri doesn't notice unless she like decides to roll her own careful, but again, she doesn't notice. You notice, Benjamin, that again, 2 undead mooks are going in your direction. They don't appear like hostile, like, oh, I'm going to kill you, but they are like with weapons drawn because they are guards guarding prisoners.
I assume I would notice that Lyri is freaking out, right?
Yeah, she's right next to you, so yeah.
Okay. So I'll just try to grab her shoulder and tell her to calm down a bit, since
Jesus,
there's
that's
some
really
nice
violent
fellas.
shoulder grabs.
Yeah, we heard that slam and yeah. Okay. Feel free to like interact, or you have like 20 to 30 seconds until the 2 guardsmen show up.
I just kind of go silent and try and see what Benjamin's, grabbing me for.
Mm-hmm. Benjamin?
Oh, sorry. I forgot to push the talk. No, I lost my train of thought. What was I doing?
You grabbed Lyri's shoulder because she was freaking out when the 2 guardsmen were like moving in your direction. You have like 20 seconds of like interaction until they reach you guys.
Well, let's try to calm down a bit and not look too suspicious.
Sounds good.
Do you still have the Archmage in your arms?
Yeah, now that I think of it, I can't really grab anyone's shoulder, but it's metaphorical, I guess.
I think
You can carry her with one arm, he's strong.
yeah, and she's fairly lightweight. Johnny, who is also next to you, Lyri, will say, I'm sure it will be fine, Lady Lyri. No need to worry about it.
I don't pay him much attention.
Mm-hmm. Benjamin, if you were to look at Johnny, you would see that he has a frightened, terrified expression, but he is like trying his best to seem brave.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
So, the 2 like undead mooks come up to you and say, the priestess has requested your presence. Come along.
As in the 3 of us?
He like points with his sword at you, Benjamin, at Lyri, and at the Archmage who's in your arms.
I guess we've got no choice. I expect you to hold the ship, Johnny.
Johnny looks alarmed and says to the undead, "Wait, if you're taking Lady Lyri, you have to take me too. I'm not trusting." And one of the undead like slams the hilt of his sword in Johnny's stomach, and Johnny falls over.
We need to go, Benjamin.
Yeah, right. Help him up, please.
Move.
Let's just go.
Okay, and do you go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go and I look back at Johnny.
He's keeling over on the floor, but some other people are helping him stand up.
I don't look at him anymore, I'm bored.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Captain Bladebeard, you and Frignir have just been tied up by Cherry and Ironbeard, funnily enough. All of your crewmen, servants, I don't know what the preferred term you would use, but all of them except for Frignir have turned against you the moment you handed Zalotaf over to Zulgalga. What do you like say or do in this moment?
Nothing really. I'm captured. I'm just gonna follow whatever the witch says I need to do.
Mm-hmm. The Zulgaga, the witch herself, looks at you and says, I want to be having a little chat with you, Captain Bladebeard, and with a few of your friends. I think it'd be best if we do it on my ship.
Yeah, of course.
What's your Bladebeard's like expression at the moment, I wonder?
He is I think he's pretty relaxed and happy. You know, closer he is to the witch, it's easier for him to kill her. So he's already like planning his next move.
Okay. Did not expect that, but okay. It's your character. I guess we understand why you have a clever of 0. I guess.
Yeah, he's insane.
So, long story short, you will be led along with Frignir towards an undead ship that has in the meanwhile docked at the south. And you'll be led aboard unless you do anything else.
Can I, do the aspects thing to Zugalga? Can I try to
search for her aspects? Yeah. Just give me a moment. So, I have her character sheet in front of me, so I know like difficulties, etc., etc. But you definitely can.
Yeah, I think we'll be spending some time with her, so it could be useful.
Okay. Difficult. She has 4 aspects. I'll give it difficulty 2 to learn one of her tertiaries, 4 to learn another tertiary, 6 to learn high concept, 8 to learn her trouble. Make sense?
Alright. Yeah.
You have no way of reaching 8 unless you spend fate points, but you have the option.
Alright. I'll just roll my careful.
For free, you get her 4th aspect. Let me type it on screen. You've seen Zulgalga work, even when she was like just a priestess that you got aboard your ship. And her tertiary aspect is that she is a master of dark voodoo and shadow.
Alright. Not very useful, I guess, but
you know it.
still,
And
yeah.
you get a free invocation on that if you like can think of a way to use it.
Alright.
So this is her 4th aspect. She has another tertiary one and a high concept and a trouble, as with most NPCs.
Makes sense.
And this is the most obvious aspect, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, in terms of narrative, be like, look her over in your schemes of how should I murder Zulgaga, and you remember like a time like 2 days after you recovered her from like the deserted island when you guys boarded a merchant vessel, your former crew, and she fought alongside you and unleashed dark spells. And you realize by the fact that she is controlling this many undead that she is much more powerful than she showed back then, and she's a master of dark voodoo and shadow. Make sense?
Yeah. Nothing new.
Nothing new, but
cool.
It's something you have it's potentially useful in the future. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Buhd, my dear. If you remember in the last session, you like woke up on like an undead ship next to the Buhd Buccaneers and the Weasel, who are also taken prisoner. The Sunsurge twins are nowhere to be seen. And if you remember from last session, the Weasel was like crying and cussing and you told him to shut up. And that's pretty much about it. What do you do or say anything while you are taken prisoner?
Buhd asks where the twins are.
Where are the
We're elf friends.
You asking the Weasel or your Butt Buccaneers? Or the room
Yeah.
in general?
Well, I guess the room in general.
Okay. The Weasel is still crying and won't respond to you. Of the Butt Buccaneers, Kristen will say, Big giant wave came and took him away, Cam. They're with Neptulon now. Rest their souls.
Oh, well, they probably good at swimming.
Kristen nods solemnly. And she like looks down as if she's like mourning, if that makes sense.
Would think they turn into spinny ghost things when they die. So maybe they spinning ghosts now.
Twinkles will say, No, Cameron, I had a vision while I was drinking Booty Bay once that they go to like a magical forest called Ardenweald and it's fancy and beautiful. But that makes no sense.
That sounds very silly.
Yeah.
Why would a weald need Arden?
Yeah, that's what I told Billy here, but he didn't believe me. Billy will say, yeah, Twinkle's always with the visions.
A very silly Twinkles. That doesn't happen. That would be weird.
Twinkles nods ashamed. Billy says, You think they got alcohol here, Cameron? I've never been taken prisoner before.
Maybe.
Billy looks concerned. But you will see an undead crew member like marching in your direction.
This looks like trouble.
Again, he doesn't appear like hostile. He has his weapon drawn, but again, he's a guardsman around prisoners. Of course, he's going to have his weapon drawn.
Yep, Bud just assumes the worst.
Mm-hmm. The Weasel also sees this and begins crying louder. And like ugly crying with snot and everything, and because he's tied up, he can't clean himself up.
Crybaby.
The undead Mook comes up to you and says, The priestess has requested your presence. You'll come with me.
Okay. Twinkles, well, maybe not Twinkles. Well, you guys take good care of each other while Bud's gone.
Kristen looks up at you and like nods frantically. Twinkles will do the same. Billy still seems distraught at the possibility that there's no alcohol.
Bud be back soon. Be good, you guys.
Bud, you are like, your hands are still tied, but you are able to like stand. Do you do so?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And the undead guardsman motions for you to like follow him. Do you do so?
Yeah.
Okay. What's going to happen in the next like 10 to 20 minutes is that your ship will link up with another undead ship and you will be transferred over to that other undead ship. Make sense?
Yeah.
Let me know again if you do or say anything in the meanwhile before we like jump ahead.
At the moment, Bud doesn't really do much but follow and ask really benign and very simple questions.
You will notice that the undead doesn't answer you at all. The only time he like shows a reaction is if you like move too slowly, at which point he turns like a little bit hostile.
Okay, he's mostly just asking about food and what's going on.
Yeah, he does not reply to you at all, pretty much.
We getting peanut butter sandwiches? Bud like those. Those are very tasty.
Silence.
Oh.
He doesn't say silence, just that it is silence.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Bud sometimes likes to put little tuna fishes with Bud's peanut butter sandwich. Very, very tasty. Add extra crunch.
He is completely mute to what you're saying. At this point, as I was talking with all of you earlier, you have now entered the next step of your journey together, so to say. A milestone in the story, if you will. aka you've reached a significant milestone in the game. Dear viewers, you get to witness this live, more or less. When the players reach a significant milestone in the story, they get to improve one of their stats by +1. They also have the opportunity to choose a new stunt, but we're going to do that off screen just because that would be a more complicated process, and we don't want to waste too much time with this. So, have all of you thought about where you would like to put your next point in, or if you have any, or if you want to switch your approaches or whatever? Okay, then I think we will start with you, Zelris, just in case anyone else hasn't thought about it yet. Where would you like to put your extra point?
Let me have a look.
I can go first if
Yeah, sure,
no one else.
DoomGoblin. Sure,
Yeah,
DoomGoblin.
I'll be pretty quick and put my +1 in quick.
Okay, makes sense. Benjamin, you're no longer the zoomer of the group.
Then
I was gonna also go for quick, but since Bladebeard went for quick, I'm gonna go for sneaky.
Sure. That's how should I say this? Either choice is equally valid. Don't feel that you have to go one way or another just because another player. Okay.
I know.
Okay. So Captain Bladebeard, you have a quick of 4. Lyri, Roseguard, you have a sneaky of 5. Thompshire, Skoll, have you guys decided?
I'm gonna go ahead and add a +1 to sneaky.
Okay, you have a sneaky of 2 now. And Skoll, Bud?
Yeah, I changed mine's around a little bit here.
Okay.
So my careful and my clever are the exact same. However, my flashy is now 2 rather than 3.
Okay.
My forceful is now 5 instead of 3.
Well, you can't exactly make a shift that radical, unfortunately.
Oh, you can't?
No, you can for instance, you're allowed to switch 2 around, say my clever would be a 3 and flashy 2, just to use an example. And in addition to that, you get another point. Make sense?
Okay, so I can only switch them around. I can't
Yeah. And also
take...
Yeah. Also,
Okay.
FYI, for everyone, you guys are allowed to switch your approaches around at the end of any session, not just of significant milestones.
Alright, and I would just add 1 to my forceful then.
Okay.
I can fix that.
Yeah, duly noted. Okay, so these are your new stats, and feel free to think up of new stunts that you would like, but again, we're going to solve that off screen, just because that might take a little bit of time. And also, since you guys have reached a significant milestone, Captain Bladebeard and Bud's level 6 consequences will go away, because it's been a while since they had those, and those go away on significant milestones. So good job to you guys on that. Benjamin, your level 4 consequence will go away after the end of this session, okay?
Sure.
Okay. So, congratulations everyone. We've reached a new milestone in the story where we can finally leave Golden Skoll behind. And while I arrange stuff on our little map, I'd like to... Well, in terms of narrative, you all are led to, the same ship, pretty much. And you'll get a chance to, meet each other. Who would be first? I think, yeah, Benjamin and Lyri meeting with Bladebeard would happen first. In terms of narrative.
Mm.
So, just for context again, Benjamin and Lyri, you've been led to this undead ship, and you see that Bladebeard is also being led aboard. He's tied up, and Frignir, the Iron Dwarf, is also tied up with him. And, well, how should I say this? He's being led by Cherry and Ironbeard, the two people who were his former, allies, if you guys remember.
Mm-hmm.
So while I put the NPCs on screen, feel free to, interact.
I'll give Mr. Benjamin a little nudge and kind of gesture towards.
I'm pretty sure I know what just happened to Bladebeard.
Well, you guys are led. Well, Bladebeard, you're being led towards Benjamin and Lyri, so you guys will actually meet. It's not just that you see each other. Make sense?
Yeah. I'm going to just give them a smile and a wink.
I'll just sigh heavily.
Yeah.
You have several minutes until Buhd will show up. Do you interact at all in the meanwhile?
I guess you survived.
I guess I did.
I guess he did.
And I would also assume your knife friend is no more.
No more what?
Well, no longer your friend.
We were never friends. Not very useful tool. She was pretty annoying. I never liked her.
Of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For context, you're still carrying the Archmage, Benjamin, by the way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is she alright?
Yeah, she's just a bit tired after everything.
I can't blame her.
Have you seen the dragon thing?
It's a bit hard not to see it.
All the other NPCs will remain silent, by the way. That's why I'm not saying anything.
Oof. This is a little bit awkward.
Is there anyone else on the ship, by the way?
Oh, well, the crew of the ship, aka the undead, and a bunch of prisoners. There's these two people who are now guarding you two. And for the moment, well, and the Archmage in your arms, but for the moment, nobody particularly interesting.
Okay, so we're not the only prisoners, right? Okay,
Correct. But the prisoners around you are random members of the Blackwater Raiders, not people you would know.
Okay. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. If you guys want, we can also skip ahead until Buhd joins you. Up to all of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. A few minutes later, after the ship will move and then link up with another undead ship, and your favorite ogre companion will be led aboard. Still wounded, but because his consequences and stress have cleared, he is much more lively on his feet, funnily enough.
Friends!
Oh, finally, some good news. At least you survived.
Yeah, Buhd ended up on a big giant hill. Well, guess mountains. And Bud tried to get on ship, but it no work so well for Bud. So, Bud lead an army, then that army kind of die. Bud tried to take a ship, and then everyone kind of get captured.
Normally,
Do you think he hit his head when he climbed down the mountain?
honestly, I was about to say that I normally wouldn't believe this, but having seen everything I saw today, maybe it did happen.
Yeah, Bud really wanted a fish sandwich with peanut butter, though.
By the way, does Bud react to seeing Cherry guarding Bladebeard? Cherry, if you don't remember, Cherry used to be Bladebeard's first mate until she got demoted, so you could be first mate. She wasn't particularly friendly with you, but now apparently she has a purple glow in her eyes and she's on Zulgaga's side.
Oh, Jerry here. You doing good?
She spits at you.
But take that as a no.
The only reason I'm not gutting you is because the master does not wish it.
Well, Bud appreciates that, Cherry. You're looking very purple.
She ignores that comment.
What is this after?
She always kind of, angry.
Yeah, I guess Bladebeard is a great judge of character.
Well, I don't think you would know who Cherry is, Benjamin.
Yeah, I'm just commenting on Bladebeard's judge of character according to what Bud just said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she used to be, first mate before Bud become first mate. Though, I guess neither of us are first mate anymore.
Seems Bladebeard has a thing for demoting first mates.
Oh, well, Bud got fired.
Cherry will kind of surprisingly say, because all the other undead guards have been like silent, Cherry will say, if I had still been first mate when the priestess showed up, none of this would have happened.
Oh, Bud don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't you say anything?
I tried to say something, but you didn't listen to me, did you?
It's a blur. You said when you were alive, you said a lot of things. You talked a lot. I mean, I kind of.
And you never listened to me. I should have jumped ship the first chance. Right after you brought this damn ogre aboard. Why'd you even pick him?
You know, I asked that myself.
Oh, Bud pretty great.
You're alright. Not really a first mate material though.
But Bud first mate for a while. That gotta count for something.
I was first mate for a while too. Apparently, this dwarf doesn't care about that. Just like he doesn't care about anyone else.
I guess I can agree with that point there.
But Bud can kind of see that too. I mean, Bud was first mate for years, and then Ironhead come and take Bud's job.
By the way, Frignir is also a prisoner, just in case you didn't notice, Bud. But Ironbeard is not.
Yeah, Bud thinks that the dwarf is the first mate.
And he is. Oh,
okay, so Bud was right.
Yeah. Cherry will say, "All of you are a bunch of damned fools. I wish I'd never met you, Captain Bladebeard."
Why?
Are you speaking to me, Blood Elf?
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell are you?
I'm pretty cool.
Not cool enough if you're associated with this damn dwarf. Tell me, Bladebeard, did you ever care about any of us after you handed us over to the troll? Did you ever
He-
think about us?
Will
No,
he do
I'm sure
this?
I'm sure you went on your merry way and never gave a damn about us again. Am I wrong?
He just grins and
No.
winks.
Honestly, he just kept complaining about his ship.
Right. His ship. Not his crew, not his friends, not all the connections he's made. No, just his ship, of course.
That's
Yeah.
a lie.
But try
Come
to
on,
build a ship.
I talked about my crew all the time.
I mean,
How-
you kind of refer to them as like a possession. You know, it's not a very friendly way to refer to, you know.
Not. I mean, I don't think of them as possessions.
You think of
I-
everything as a possession or about how it can potentially affect you. You don't care about how anyone else feels.
You know, your words don't mean anything. You're just a mindless husk controlled by the witch.
She you see like pure rage go on Cherry's face, and she looks like she's about to like take a step to physically attack you, but for some reason she like stops mid-step, and her expression turns from rage to frustration.
Right?
Okay.
Am I?
Maybe let's talk, and maybe have something to eat. Mostly eat.
I've nothing to say to you, damned ogre. Why did Zolgaga spare you two anyway? Why didn't she spare me? Why didn't she spare anyone else? Damn it all.
Maybe she'd like Buhd.
Cherry continues to like struggle in her place. Eventually she is like released, if that makes sense. But she does not like move to attack you again. Bladebeard. She still has a frustrated and annoyed look on her face.
You really look like you wanna punch me, right?
No, I want to gut you. I want to eviscerate you and eat your damned entrails.
Why don't you?
Because she like, you see her like trying to stab you pretty much because she has her weapon in hand, but you see like her muscles straining to move, and yet the arm does not move.
Yeah, because you're not Cherry anymore.
It's
It
all your
just-
damned fault, you stupid dwarf.
Not gonna argue with that.
Jeez, what do you do to her? She's very mad at you, Bladebeard.
I'm very
I mean,
mad at you too, you dumb ogre. You stole my damned job. You stole my life from me.
Yeah, job not all what it's cracked out to be. Kind of bad, actually. You can be Bud's new first mate if you want. Although, I have to talk to Twinkles about that.
I'll gut you where you stand. I would at least if I...
See, that why you probably lose the job if you're trying to gut people all the time.
I'm curious what are Benjamin and Lyri doing while this exchange is happening.
I mean, this is a bit personal. I'm not sure what to say.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Fair enough. The Archmage is still in Benjamin's arms for reference's sake, unless you put her down. Up to you. Yeah. At this point, since you're like standing on the deck of the ship, you will see, all of you will see, like, the ships will like start moving away from Golden Skoll towards the north, like Zolgaga stipulated when she demanded the surrender of the ships. There's at the moment 3 undead ships and 4 quote-unquote living ships, but there are undead guardsmen on all of them, just to like describe the scene for you guys. And you continue moving for like 10 minutes or so. The storm is still raging, the dragon is still flying overhead. Do you do or say anything in the meanwhile? Ignore the sunny background in here. I just didn't record a storm background, being honest.
I just kind of wait for the Archmage.
She would start to shuffle in your arms, Benjamin. Like she's about to wake up.
Then I guess I'd slowly put her down.
She looks at you as while she's still in your arms and says, "Benjamin, are we in Aaran? No, where are we?"
Oh, I'm afraid that I have terrible news.
And then she, she hears Lyri sigh, and the second sign of alarm is the smell of a bunch of undead together. And then her expression sobers, and she gingerly stands up on her own feet. If you would let her.
Well, welcome back to the world of the living. Actually, we're a minority here, I think.
We're captured. Haha.
Captain Bladebeard, Buhd, hello. See, fate has not been kind to all of you.
Yeah, Buhd ended up on mountains, and a lot of things happened.
Honestly, fate has been very kind to me today. I feel great.
The Archmage looks at you and gives you this WTF look.
Don't mind him. He's not okay. Up there, a bit more than usual, I guess.
He's never been okay up there, says Cherry.
Well, I mean, I should do the responsible thing and apologize for killing you, Mr. Bladebeard.
What?
What? Says the
Wait,
Archmage.
what?
And Cherry says that too.
When did you kill me?
I killed the thing on the ship.
You set off... Wait, you set off the explosion?
Oh.
Yeah.
The Archmage stares at you in shock.
I guess I now know where the idea to blow off the undead ship came from.
I told you this just 30 minutes ago, Mr. Benjamin.
Oh, right.
And you said it was all
my
good.
day.
Someone's giving into peer pressure.
What?
Why would
I
that
thought
be
I
good?
could find it.
Behind all of you, Cherry will laugh out loud, and she will say, "Some crew you've picked up, Bladebeard."
Wait, I still don't understand what she's talking about. Lily, right?
Hmm?
The explosion. That was you caused that?
On the Moonsong's Folly, yeah.
And I fucking died, you know that.
I mean, you're back here, I guess. So all is.
I thought you had a great day.
It was pretty emotional for Buhd. Very sad day. Very good day afterwards, but very sad day too.
I fucking died, you know what? You know that. That is an amazing quote. The Archmage will shake her head and say, "Well, at this point I think that's the least of our concerns right now."
Yeah, actually, yeah. Me being killed. Not really that important right now. Surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, you're back for what it's worth, and you seem
Healthy?
Chipper.
Yeah. I thought maybe if I would get rid of the dagger that I would die again, but I guess not. I'm still alive.
Then I guess that confirms the dagger is with your beloved Little Calvin, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
She has the dagger? Says the Archmage.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she have all the good artifacts. Bad. Very bad.
The Archmage, like, face palms, but not in like a, a Captain Picard way, but rather in a we're all fucked way.
No, and just chillax, guys. Everything's gonna be fine.
I severely doubt that. For one, I'm especially wondering why did she take hostages?
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a reason. She obviously doesn't need us dead.
Maybe she gonna throw us a party. Give us food. Bud likes that.
Or she's gonna turn us into one of those, and I'll point at Cherry.
Oh, Bud doesn't want to
Goblin?
be a lady again.
I'll facepalm, but this time not in a we're fucked way, but just these people are stupid.
That one doesn't even have a tail.
Cherry shoots you the most confused look you've ever seen on her. But then she shakes her head and like resumes her like scowl.
I'm gonna look at Benjamin and I'm gonna ask, what else did I apologize for earlier?
What else did you apologize about earlier? I'm seeing this out of character because I don't remember.
Well, I told you in character as well. Oh my god. Tisk.
The Archmage will say, well, it doesn't matter right now. Fortunately, I will admit I would have preferred some other companions for the most part, but we have to stick together right now.
I mean, I thought we were a pretty good team on the beat.
You're not as bad as I made you out to be, Blood Elf, I will admit that.
You are pretty good at swallowing stuff. I'll give you that.
The Archmage face palms in the Captain Picard way. And she'll say, you don't say that to a lady.
Thank you. And I'll give Bladebeard a big old nod.
When did she do that? Bud never seen her do that. Just explode things.
I think you did see Lyri swallow the Archmage's wand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Bud might have forgotten that.
To be fair, he got like beat up.
A lot of stuff has happened in the 2 hours since that event, yeah.
Bud is not the guy who remembers things. I can say that right now.
At this point, you guys are standing on the deck of the ship. You'll see the door to what would traditionally be the captain's cabin open up, and 2 undead mooks come out and walk in your direction.
Guess we're being moved again.
Are we getting food?
The master will see you now. She has prepared accommodations for all of you, says one undead mook.
Cool.
But hopes that means food.
I hope it's not a coffin.
I hope that means drinks.
Food is better than
Sounds like
drinks.
shit, but whatever.
The undead motions for you to walk to the captain's cabin.
By the way, you mentioned Bladebeard is tied, right?
His hands are tied, yeah.
Or are our hands tied as well?
You, Benjamin, and Lyri are not tied. But Buhd is. And Meridia's not either.
Okay. It's because we were good and we went over willingly.
Yeah, all of you are led into the captain's cabin if you agree to be led there.
I'm gonna follow.
Okay. And when you enter, you see, well, as you enter, you will see, just as Buhd predicted, and I find it funny that he predicted that, a table has been lined up, and at the other end of the table sits the lady herself. There are 5 chairs waiting for you, and one bigger one for Buhd. And there are plates, empty plates for the moment, and undead guards behind each chair. And
Oh, good. What was right?
Zolgaga rises from her seat and says, "Please, my dear guests, sit down. We have business to discuss."
That sounds good to Buhd.
I take a big nod and I say, "Thank you, Mistress Zolgaga."
She smiles and nods at you.
Buhd hurriedly heads over to the his chair and sits down in it because he's hungry.
I'm just glad I got the name right. I would just sit down in a random chair.
I'm going to sit as close as I can to Zolgaga.
Oh, Captain, she notices that and says, "Oh, Captain Bladebeard, let's keep that for later, shall we? Please, you are my most honored guest. You deserve a seat at the other end of the table."
Are you two dating?
She laughs at you.
I just wink towards Buhd.
Buhd just gives him a weird shake, like a what?
All right. I'll sit at the what's that place called?
The other head of the table.
Yeah, head of the table. All right.
So basically it's a rectangle. Zolgaga is at one end. Bladebeard is at least supposed to be on the other end. She put the big Buhd seat next to Bladebeard, and the other 3 seats are like, you guys can decide where you would sit down.
I'll sit close to Zolgaga.
What about you, Benjamin? I didn't hear you.
I guess I'll try to sit in the seats closest to the door.
Well, that would be Bladebeard, and that's, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought the table was like from the other direction, I guess. Then anywhere is fine, really.
You could
preferably not next to Zolgaga.
Okay, then the Archmage and Lyri would sit next to Zolgaga. And she smiles at you as you all sit down. Sorry. And she sits down herself. And she will say, "I be truly sorry for the rude way I have invited you. But I assure you, we do have business to discuss. But first," she snaps her fingers, and all of you will see from behind the door in the cabin, food be brought out for all of you.
Awesome.
Good. But starving.
Oh, I almost forgot. She snaps her fingers again, and Bladebeard and Buhd, for both of you, one undead guard will move to untie you so that you can eat.
Oh, thank you. Much easier to eat than with face.
Of course, my dear Buhd. Though I know you could do whatever you wish.
It's very true.
Bladebeard, do you have a reaction to being untied?
I just thank the undead.
Mm-hmm.
Thank ya.
It's a generic undead. The undead servers, for lack of a better terms, put down plates for you, like on top of the empty plates you already have. It looks like some steak with a few vegetables.
So, who are we eating?
Zolgaga chuckles at you and says, "Quick to judge, aren't you, my good captain?"
They don't look like heads. They look like actual food for once, which is good for Buhd, because Buhd isn't allowed to eat heads anymore.
Zulgaga begins to eat her meal. And gestures with her hand that you should all do the same.
Yeah, I kind of feebly kind of poke around at the food for a while until I'm confident enough to start eating it.
Buhd is hurriedly devouring his food as an ogre would eat their food.
Zulgaga sees this, snaps her finger, and you are brought seconds.
Oh,
The Archmage looks in your direction, Benjamin, to see what you do with all this.
I kind of shrug.
She sighs and begins eating as well. Benjamin, Bladebeard, what do you
Well,
do?
I guess I've got no choice.
Yeah, Bladebeard is eating.
She does. Zulgaga doesn't like speak of important matters while you guys will be eating, unless you guys start talking. She will wait until you guys are all done, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, Benjamin, can you hand me the salt?
Yes, I will say the steak seems very rich and fat.
Sure. No.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else while you guys are eating?
Is there anything to drink?
Water for now.
I'll drink
Zulgaga.
water.
Duly noted. Lyri, what were you going to say, DoomGoblin?
Is there anything to drink besides water?
My good captain, as is customary with you folk, if I remember correctly, drinks are usually reserved for when a deal is struck, and I want to propose a deal after the meal is done. Be done, I guess.
Alright.
Cool. I mean, I'm excited to hear it.
Okay. I presume, does anything else happen until you finish eating? By the way, for you guys, this seems like very benign, but in the background for our viewers, it's like ominous Twilight's Hammer music playing.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Just FYI for our viewers, our players don't have like any background music to accompany these scenes. But yeah, I add those in later in editing. So again, I'll repeat the question. Anything else until everyone is finished eating?
I look and see how everyone else is eating.
The Archmage is eating cautiously, if that makes sense, as if like, is this meat poisoned? Oh, it's not poisoned. Okay, I guess I'll eat. I'm a little hungry. I didn't have breakfast. Okay. How are the other player characters eating?
I guess since it doesn't seem poisoned and everyone else is eating, I guess I'm eating relatively normally.
Mm-hmm.
Bladebeard is eating like very politely, like a gentleman.
Of course.
Yeah, but Buhd is he's shoving down the food as fast as possible and just, devouring it, because that's just how Buhd eats his food. It's not really If anyone in the cast has seen Buhd eat, this is how he's eaten all the time, so it's not really different. He's just very hungry, so he's eating a lot.
Yeah. Well, you will probably finish the fastest by quite a while, so Zulgaga will order another plate brought out for you.
I
Yeah,
played like 5 times with Buhd.
Yeah, I was gonna say like probably above board, probably like 5 plates probably in total.
Makes
He'd
sense.
just be,
Yeah.
patting his belly afterwards.
She would ensure a steady supply until everyone has eaten. So after everyone has finished eating, Zulgaga will look at you, Bladebeard, and she will say, "You are right, my good captain. I have to admit I'm sad you spoiled the surprise. So how did Tuk Tuk taste?"
Uh, uh, can I tell if she's joking?
She has the same smug smile on her face that she always has. Feel free to interpret that however you wish.
Alright, I'm going to say that, like, his eye twitches a bit, but then he says, like, oh, he tastes great. Like I thought he would.
Bud?
Who?
I was going to tell Bud, which I guess would tell everyone else who Tuk Tuk was, because Bud would know who Tuk Tuk was rather. But would you prefer to wait until like everyone is revealed, or should I tell you?
Wait until it's
Okay, then we can wait.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Okay. So what did you say, Bladebeard? That he tasted
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, he tasted great.
Zulgaga will clap her hands and nod appreciatively and say, "Good, good. You know it'd be quite hard to find good undead cooks, but you make do. Especially when the what's the word? The ingredients be of high quality. You've been keeping your crew well supplied, I should say."
Thank you.
She clasps her hands and nods and says, "So, on to the business at hand, my dear companions." She looks at all of you. The Archmage looks at Bladebeard with a horrified look and says, "Bladebeard, who was Tuk Tuk?"
Person you just ate, apparently.
The Archmage has a horrified expression.
I'm feeling kind of sick, but I wouldn't really say anything.
So, this business you were talking about.
Right. She snaps her fingers again, and from the outside door this time, not like the inside door, someone will come in, aka this gentleman that Bladebeard and Bud have faced off against. Well, kind of. Go ahead.
Oh, this guy.
He walks silently and stands next to Zulgaga. All of you will see that he has like a cannon hole in the middle of him. And he positively reeks of like a cadaver. Which I guess is all the more telling considering what you just ate.
Doesn't look like a proper chef to Buhd.
I kind of eye him a little bit.
You kind of what?
Eye him a little bit.
He stands next to Zulgaga. She chuckles at your comment, Bud. And she will say, "Do you know who this is?"
No. Well, sorta.
This be, or was, it complicated, the leader of the demons who attacked Booty Bay. Well, he was complicated again.
Yeah. This is his body, right?
Zulgaga nods at you and says, "Very perceptive, Captain Bladebeard. Yes, this is or was an orc. And somehow he's also in Booty Bay leading Hanamia demons. How is that?"
You know, orcs know some pretty dark and weird magics?
She nods at you and like motions with her hand as in like continue.
Oh, I'm far from an expert, but you know, I believe some of them can kind of, I don't know, put their souls into human corpses and live again in different bodies.
Zulgaga nods at you. The Archmage turns to Zulgaga, still with a horrified and disgusted expression after what she ate, and says, Captain Bladebeard proposed the idea that he was a Death Knight. I didn't want to believe that, but Zulgaga will say, Death Knight, that be the word. Sorry, you know. Maybe be going at me old age. You know how it be.
So, your mother killed this one.
Zulgaga grunts and says, Yes, me mother killed him and I stole away his corpse. Oh, that's why I was exiled when I... Well, never mind about that. So, apparently we have a common enemy, don't you think so?
Yes, but think so.
She nods appreciatively at you, Buhd, as like nods if she would to a small child, basically. She will say, this man, well, not this man, but, you know, this person, complicated. Once me and me line dead, all of me line dead. Now I admit I don't have much love for what remains of my family, but I can't necessarily abide someone as powerful as this continuing to live. Don't you agree? I mean, what kind of priestess would I be if I allowed the bane of my family to continue to live? Well, not live, but, you know. What?
I mean,
go ahead.
Your family doesn't really like you. That's just the vibe I got.
And I don't like them either. Don't worry about that. And they will die soon enough. But this one hates all sides of my family, even the ones who had no part in him being killed. Orcs be like that, you know how it is. What are Benjamin, Lyri, and Buhd doing, by the way? Thinking, I should say.
I'm kind of still looking at my plate, but listening to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of doing the same thing, looking at my plate. I don't really believe Zulgaga, so...
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah, but it's just, you know, rumming his stomach after eating because, you know, he's full. He's
also not new to eating dead bodies.
No, he isn't. He's still adjusting to the fact that that is a no-no. So...
But also, Buhd, Tuk was Bladebeard's ship cook.
Oh.
He was a Tuskar.
That's probably why Buhd liked eating him. I don't think Bud's eaten Tuskar.
DoomGoblin, I'm correct that I remember correctly that it was the cook, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cook, the tuk-tuk.
Oh no.
That poor
We ate a
Tuskar.
Tuskar?
Man, if Taliesin ever watched these videos, he'd be pissed.
I mean, that's why I said the meat was very fat.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, blubber, of course.
Yeah.
But Buhd shows a little sign of concern and agitation because he likes the troll lady, and she wants her dead. So he isn't gonna do anything because he knows that in this sort of situation he can't do much. but he is a little, you know,
Yeah, makes sense.
disgruntled by that idea.
Makes sense. Zulgaga, going back to the conversation, would say, from what I heard from the survivors of that terrible, terrible incident in Buhd Bay, this one, she points to the orc, and then like shakes her head and says, well, not this one, but you know what I mean. He has some sort of magical artifact.
Yeah, you could say that.
Tell me about it.
An orb that can summon things.
The Archmage shoots you like a glare, Bladebeard, and you can interpret that glare as in don't tell her too much.
That's as much as we know, really.
An
I
orb
use
that
it.
summons things. What kind of things?
Humans, I believe a Storming Guard, an orc, a squid. What else did it summon? Demons, I believe.
Human, orc, Swede, and a demon. She says with a very, like, are you serious? Is that all? Look.
Anything else, guys? I believe. Yeah, that's it.
Didn't it summon dragon?
A dragon? Go on more, bud. Tell me more.
It was very dark looking dragon. Kind of looked like the one that was a dwarf at one point. And then we killed that dwarf in caves before he became dragon.
Well, I guess the problem be solved then, but still, it can summon dragons. That'd be very, very interesting. What do you know about this orb? Where did it come from?
You should ask this guy. And I point towards the orc.
Oh, he don't talk much. You know how it be. This husk don't even have a soul. It doesn't even have many memories other than reflexes to cast green magic.
Oh, but know that feeling. Well, forgetting things.
By the way, Benjamin and not Benjamin, Lyri rather, because you're standing the closest to Zulgaga, this orc smells positively awful.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I would just kind of hold my nose.
Do that for a while, I guess. Zulgaga will like wave her hand and say, well, matters little. That artifact sounds interesting, but I'd be after a different artifact. Have you ever heard of the Stone of the Tides?
When the stone and the staff are in the hands of the one of the storm's blood, blah blah blah.
She will look at you, Bladebeard, and say, interesting. When did you hear that?
Wait, the crucible will open. Something like that, right?
Interesting. Interesting. Tell me more, Captain Bladebeard. I'd be curious as to what you know exactly.
I know a lot. That's what I do. I drink and I know stuff.
Zulgaga rolls her eyes and says, Captain Bladebeard, your best chance of survival be to cooperate with me. No need to be so hostile. You want another piece of tuk-tuk?
No thanks. I had enough. Well, that's basically all I know. I assume the staff is
And
the
where
one
did
Buhd
you
gave
hear these words?
It's complicated. From a friend, let's say.
You mean this? She lifts up Zalatav.
That one doesn't really know much.
She puts Zalatav back. Interesting. You be partly right, Captain Bladebeard. Have any of you heard of the legend of Minloth the Serpent?
He fought Krakens.
Very good, Captain Bladebeard, very good. You be so bright, I knew you were my favorite. Anyone else? Okay. Minloth the Serpent. He was, well, my great grandfather. She chuckles at the many greats, and she says he had, well, 2 artifacts. She will lift up a staff, that the golden staff that she's carrying, the one that you looted from Roswell's tower, Bladebeard, and she puts it back. She sheaths it back, and she says, and, well, he was supposed to have, I should say, an artifact known as the Stone of the Tides. When a good man by the name of Neptulon heard of that, he sent Kraken to kill me great grandfather. Unfortunately, he could not fight back against, well, an army of Kraken with just this staff. He needed the stone as well. And I need the stone as well for what I be planning. And the stone, from what you two, she points towards Buhd and Lyri, from what you two uncovered, is in Buhd Bay, from what the Baron told you. Do you see where this be going?
Kinda.
She nods and says, well, I be needing the stone. And, well, apparently one of our common enemies be in Buhd Bay. So, I think it'd be a good idea that we sail there after we, like, drop off all the rabble that we picked up. We sail there, take care of... She points towards the orc. She says, well, not him, but, you know. And I get the stone. And you all can get your stupid town back. I don't really be caring about that. But I will keep 1,000 of the refugees of Buhd Bay as payment. She looks at Bladebeard.
Alright, sure.
You agree then?
What do you mean, payment?
She looks at you, Benjamin, and like eyes you up and down and says, you can stay with me, handsome, and find out afterwards. How about that?
I think I'll pass on that.
She laughs and says, well, you don't need to know all the details, but... She has like this wistful expression on her face and says, my ultimate goal be apotheosis, and you need quite a lot of souls to do that. You know how it be.
Bud's crew not included in that, right?
I need 1,000. I don't care where they come from. And I got more than 1,000 right now. So, You go to Booty Bay, and I be sending some help. Or I take more than 1,000 of the souls you brought me. What do you think of this deal? The
Very,
Go ahead.
very generous.
The Archmage will shoot you a horrified glance, Bladebeard, and she will turn to Zulgaga and say, "You're insane, you know that." And Zulgaga will laugh at her. And otherwise ignore her comment. Zulgaga will lean down further and say, "I did not expect you to be so amenable, Bladebeard. Although I guess you always had a weakness for a pretty face."
Yeah, you could say that.
She claps her hands and says, "So, I'm gonna be giving you a ship. And you will be, and members and crewmen, of course. I don't want you to be charging in alone. And you will be going to Booty Bay and taking care of this demon menace, alright? And of course, I'll be going with you to provide support." She looks at all of you to see what your opinions are.
Sounds great. Yeah, that's what we were doing anyways, right?
But guess so.
She nods once again and says, "Good, good. I'd be happy that our discussions went in this amicable direction." She starts rising up and then stops, as if she has just noticed something, and she sits back down and appears to be thinking about something. She remains silent for a couple of minutes.
Anything wrong?
She holds up a hand and for you to shut up, basically. And then she turns towards Lyri, funnily enough, and says, "Apparently, a ship of your people has sailed into Miststorm. Not very polite to encroach on someone." How does Lyri react? Are you here, Zelris? Can any of you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I can look at Discord while recording. Is Zelris here?
Yep.
Seemingly, yeah. She might have gone AFK. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. But while we wait for Zelris to reply, what are your guys' thoughts so far? Your characters' thoughts, I should say.
This is totally a terrible plan, but there's not really an alternative right now.
Buhd doesn't really like Zulgaga that much, but he's left with very few options. It seems he mostly just wants his crew and friends to get out of there alive, so Buhd's mostly thinking about them, and kind of himself too, but
Yeah. Understandable. Bladebeard, I'm genuinely curious what's going through your mind.
Bladebeard is trying to act calm and smooth and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But deep inside he is very, very angry and furious. Maybe he bent a fork in his arm.
Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Under the table.
Furious at Zulgaga, at the meal, at the situation.
Everything really.
Understandable.
Also, one of them just admitted to killing him, and yeah, bunch of stuff to be angry about.
Mm-hmm. Definitely understandable. Yeah. Zelris, are you back with us in the world of the living? Guess not.
Take that as a no.
Okay. Well, in that case, what happens in character is she says there's a ship approaching. She doesn't say of your people to Lyri, just to like move past that. And she'll turn to all of you and say, I think we have a pit stop to make. I don't very much appreciate intruders in my territory. Is that the word humans and goblin lovers use? Pit stop?
I'm actually not sure what that means.
Yeah.
You don't know what a pit stop is? Above board?
I do, but
It's in sports racing, it's when a car goes to make a stop to refuel. Basically.
Then, in what context does that exist in the Warcraft universe?
I mean, there is racing in
I
Warcraft.
mean, good point. It's probably like a goblin or gnome term, I guess.
Yeah, that's why she said goblin lover.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. So she she asked. I think we should go make a pit stop there. What do you all say to that?
Bud does need to use the little ogre's room.
She laughs at you and says, I think you have plenty of room to do that anyway, my dear Bud. No one will judge you on here.
Bud get yelled at when Bud does that on ships.
She
I
laughs.
will judge you, bud. If you do
Yeah,
it
see,
right here.
he judged Bud when Bud do it the first time, but not do it since.
My dear Bud, I be the captain here, not Bladebeard. And I say it'd be fine.
Oh, okay.
She claps her hands and says, So, be on your way, my dear guests, and go mingle with the crew or whatever you want to do. We're gonna be reaching the enemy ship in an hour, let's say.
What about the most important part of making a deal?
Ah, yes, of course. She snaps her fingers again, and cups are brought out for all of you. And an undead servant also brings 2 jugs. Both look identical. And she says, I give the choice of drink to any and all in one of you. If you drink, do you drink from cup number 1 or jug number 1 or jug number 2? They look identical.
Is there any? It's like there's no difference.
On the surface, at least.
I'll take the one closer to me and like sniff it to see what's inside.
Well, they are both like held by undead servants next to Zulgaga.
Oh, all right. So what do we have here?
Surprise. How should I say? Is that what your goblin lovers say? I don't remember. Choose one.
I look at the others.
Above board, if when you choose, say 1 or 2, okay? Number 1 or number 2. but what do the others say on that note?
Do we have to drink them?
I mean, Bladebeard insisted.
But Buhd isn't gonna drink because he needs to. He's been drinking the water, and he actually needs to, as he said, use the little ogre's room.
Yeah,
So-
and I already had some issues with alcoholism earlier in the day.
Okay. The Archmage will also refuse the drink. Zulgaga stares directly in your eyes, Bladebeard. Lyri, do you have an opinion if you are back? I guess she's not back. So yeah, Zulgaga stares into your eyes, Bladebeard. To see which one you
Option.
choose.
Option A.
You choose number 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She snaps her fingers and the number 1 undead brings you a drink, and number 2 pours Zulgaga her drink. Bladebeard, as you see the drink being poured, you said you were going to smell it first, right?
Yeah.
It is wine.
Alright. Great.
Yeah, wine, and if you drink, it is a very fine vintage.
Yeah. He
Mhm.
drinks.
Zulgaga also drinks. You guys are obviously unsure what exactly. When she puts down her cup, her lips are stained red, though it doesn't appear to be wine.
I look at them and this is wine. I'm
You-
drinking wine.
You be drinking wine. I be drinking, well, good old tuk-tuk.
That probably not taste that good as drink.
Honestly, I'd be glad that Captain Bladebeard chose the way he did. Though I think I would have liked to pull that other prank on him. She chuckles.
Oh, eating people prank?
Yeah, I guess you can call it that, my good friend Buhd.
Oh, every time Buhd eat, it not because prank, but that it just tastes good. But, it not a good thing apparently.
Yeah. Zulgaga drinks and Bladebeard drinks, and afterwards she rises up and says, I believe our business be done for the moment. Do you guys have any opinion and reaction?
Buhd gonna go then to, do things.
Yes, go ahead, my dear Buhd, no judgment. She motions with her hand to shoo, go away at all of you.
Yeah, but Buhd kind of, goes off to do his business.
Mm-hmm. Lyri, are you here? Otherwise, Benjamin and Bladebeard, what do you two do?
I guess I'll leave as well.
Yeah, the Archmage will also leave.
I'll leave last, and let's try another aspect
Mm-hmm.
learning thing.
Okay. Oh, you want to learn one of her aspects. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me another careful.
1. I believe that's nothing.
Pretty much.
Alright. I leave the room.
Okay. You leave the room, and as all of you leave, the door closes behind you. Yeah, you are left for the moment to your own devices, but you do still have guards watching you, including Cherry and Ironbeard. Fringnir waited for all of you outside. He's still tied up. What do the 4 of you do? 5, really.
This is a terrible situation.
Well, I'm gonna find some place that has least dead people there and be there.
All of you will also see like the wind suddenly starts picking up and blowing in the sails, and the ship accelerates to like speeds you've never seen before on a ship, basically. I guess it makes sense why Zulgaga said it will only take an hour to get there. The Archmage will say, I guess she wasn't kidding.
So, I'll try to whisper. Meridia, can you like, you know, um, you know how sometimes you can teleport things from one place to another?
She sighs and says, I told you already, I'm not that good at this stuff. Plus, we're being watched right now. That spell takes some time to cast and is not particularly subtle.
Makes sense, alright. Well then,
Lyri,
go.
unless she's back, will sit down and like hug her knees at the thought of having just eaten someone. Unless she's back. Otherwise, go ahead, DoomGoblin. Sorry if I interrupted you.
Oh, was I saying something?
The Archmage just told you, no, I can't really teleport that well. Basically, is what she said. And that the spell is not subtle to cast and that you're being watched.
Man, one of those Hearthstone things would have been useful just about now.
Yeah. Well, we have an hour to kill.
One thing, well, a lot of things she said worried me, but are we gonna join her in this attack?
Well, why else did she keep us alive? Why did she bring us, specifically us, to that dinner anyway?
Because we are the best.
But why us and not, I don't know, Baron Revogaz or Mako or whomever?
Well, I guess we were involved with the whole horror business. Well, Lyri really wasn't, but
The Archmage ponders for a bit. I'm going to roll her clever, I guess. She has no idea with that roll. Basically an almost critical fail, so no, her mind is blank.
I'm still not sure what to think about letting her have 1,000 people. And honestly, what she said about apoptosis does concern me a lot as well.
I'm not particularly keen on her having 1,000 people either. But unless we find a way to maybe signal the Kirin Tor for help, or maybe this ship we're heading to, maybe they could help.
Honestly, I think she has enough manpower on this ship to overtake any regular ship. Just that orc guy gave me the creeps, and honestly, he had a cannon hole in him and seemed relatively fine.
The Archmage sighs heavily and will say, may I have a word with you later?
Yeah, sure.
He nods. And then to like the two of you, because Buhd, you went off to like relieve yourself, right?
That's what Bud did. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a funny image considering the like blinding speed the ship is moving at the moment. Bladebeard, you're still with the group, right?
Yeah, he notices that he's still holding the fork, the bent one, and just throws it on the ground.
And the Archmage sees when you do that and says, "My God, I wasn't the only one uncomfortable with all that."
By the way, above board, were our weapons taken?
Bladebeard's were, as well as Buhd. Well, except Bud's cannon because that's his like item.
Yeah, we'll take his swords, but keep your cannon, it's fine.
Yeah, sure. But for you and Lyri, your weapons were not taken.
She's probably like, "Who's gonna carry that cannon around? I ain't gonna storage that."
I honestly don't think anyone was comfortable in there. I think. Well, you were flirting with her or whatever, so you obviously were a bit comfortable, I guess.
Yeah, I'm totally fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
To,
just tone down the sexual tension next time, please.
Bladebeard, for what it's worth, I am sorry about your friend. Says the Archmage.
It's fine. It's gonna be fine.
She gives you an odd look, but says nothing more.
So, what are we gonna do to pass the time? Or are we just going to wait and be quiet?
I'll go to the back of the ship and try to do some scrying, I guess. Hopefully they won't take offense at that. Benjamin, remember what I asked you, please.
Oh, no.
And the Archmage will move to head to the back of the ship, and all of you will see like 3 undead crewmen move to follow her.
I don't think we are going to get any privacy here, right?
I guess, but at least they don't seem to want to kill us. At least for now.
Is there anyone in the crow's nest? Is there anyone on the sails and stuff?
Nobody in the crow's nest, but you do see people on the sails managing the rigging, etc. At this point, they're more so like desperately trying to hold the sails together in the face of the wind.
Alright, I'll start climbing towards the crow's nest.
You're just asking to be killed, Bladebeard.
Don't worry, I'm a very good climber.
I didn't mean that.
Cherry, who is close to you, will yell out, "Where are you going, traitor?"
Oh, to look around, to see what we are facing.
You will stay put. Right here.
Or?
She unsheaths her sword, and Ironbeard, who is next to her, does the same.
Fine. I'll be on the deck.
But
Stop climbing.
Yeah, but also feel free to come back to the group whenever you want.
Yeah, Bud's probably back by now, or just returning.
Bladebeard, you said you stop or start climbing.
Oh, I stop climbing,
Okay.
and I'm back on the deck.
Okay. Buhd, at this point, I guess you rejoin the group.
Bud is back from the business.
I sincerely hope you didn't hit anyone with this wind.
Well, but hopes not. It was a lot.
I mean, it's not like anyone would notice with this stink anyway.
I mean,
It would still be nasty.
it's also raining above board.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's raining.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't have like add-ons to like adjust the weather manually, so this is the image I have of the sea that we're using, and that image says it's clear, but it's not. So, what do all of you do at this point? Lyri, unless she's back, is still like hugging her knees, distraught at what happened back there.
I mean, I don't think I'm doing anything in particular until some time passes.
I mean, the Archmage asked you to speak with her.
Well, she said later, so I thought I'd wait like 15 minutes or so.
Fair enough. Bladebeard.
What we doing?
The ship is like going at top speed towards a presumed enemy ship.
Like what's our plan?
Well, that depends what we're gonna do to that ship. Or forced to do in this case.
Are they good guys or bad guys?
I guess that would mostly depend on perspective.
Also, all of you let me know if you'd also just like to like fast forward a little bit. It is up to you, all of you.
Yeah, sure, I think.
Sure, yeah.
I mean,
All right.
Okay. So I presume 15 minutes later you go to speak to the Archmage, Benjamin.
yeah.
Bladebeard and Buhd, what do you two occupy yourselves with in the meanwhile?
Bud explores the ship to see who else is on it to talk to.
Okay. Just for context, you will be allowed to like explore the ship, but you will be constantly watched and followed while you do that. Aboard the ship, you will see typical undead and no like named NPCs from Buhd Bay. Obviously, in character, you maybe recognize, oh, that's Jimmy, the guy of the gambling addiction or whatever. But like I said, nobody important. Baron Revelgaz isn't here, for instance, or whatever. Maybe you also recognize, like, among the undead, one or two former members of Bladebeard's crew. But they, like, remain silent and stoic. If you try to talk to Cherry, she will continue to yell at you.
Yeah, Bud's actively avoiding her because she doesn't like him, and Bud doesn't know how to feel about her. So he's kind of just looking for someone who isn't undead and is friendly-ish to talk to.
Well, like I mentioned, there's plenty of people from Buhd Bay here, but just nobody important or someone that you would be particularly close to. But we can like make up an NPC if you'd like.
I mean, Bud was mostly trying to see if he could find anyone familiar, but like super familiar, I should say.
Yeah, nobody that you're really close with or that's high ranking in Buhd Bay, if that makes sense.
Can one of the NPCs be that Draenei woman from the way back at the beginning?
Sure,
Wasn't there, like,
sure, I'll allow it, I guess.
Alright, I guess Bud's approaching a Draenei woman.
Fun fact, we skipped her when we made the Machinima version of episode 1. because I didn't feel particularly comfortable with that scene. But yeah, sure.
I don't remember. What was that scene?
Bud being creepy at her.
Oh. Yeah, that's probably fine.
So do you guys want this Draenei woman to exist and Bud to talk to her, or does she not exist?
I mean, I didn't remember the context of that scene until you brought it up now.
Well,
So it's like,
I mean, it's also your chance at redemption.
true.
I guess if it's canon that Bud engaged with her. I mean, I was just gonna have him talk to her. I didn't know the reason of her existence before.
It is entirely up to you at this point. I'm fine to have her exist and be a part of this world, I guess.
I'll just have Bud talk to her and that's it. Nothing creepy or, just like, hey, what's up? I'm Bud.
Okay. You would see her. She is tied up along with other prisoners below deck. The ship has 3 decks in total. She is on like the second deck. You see her tied up. You recognize, oh yeah, that's that one person from the bar. I thought she was a pretty person. That's kind of how you remember her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello.
She startles and looks at you in shock and says something in Draenei that seems very agitated.
Bud no speak that.
Are you with the troll?
Not by obligation. She kinda just take Bud and tell Bud that that Bud has to fight for her or whatever.
How can you walk freely?
Well, she let Bud go to walk freely.
What's going to happen to us?
Probably nothing good. She not exactly good lady.
The people who are around this Draenei start whimpering in fear. One of them starts crying. She also has a concerned expression on her face when you say that.
Bud and friends, we gonna figure out way to help. We sometimes do that, so maybe things will be okay.
The Draenei starts it almost sounds like singing to you, something in her language. Above board, she's praying, but you both probably would not recognize it as such.
Oh, that very nice song.
She continues to mumble to herself and closes her eyes.
Bud will leave her to it and will go and explore the ship further.
Okay. That was much more pleasant than your first interaction with her, I guess.
No, I was actively trying to avoid that too, but yeah, I mean... But I will say that Bud has grown as a character more from the beginning is the main reason, because,
Sure.
he knows how to talk with ladies a little bit better because he's been with Mage Lady and all sorts of other females.
Sure. Makes sense, I guess. Well, as you continue to explore, I've already mentioned what you find. Let me know if you want to talk to anyone else, or before we move on to Bladebeard.
No, I think I'm good. I think we can move on to other people.
Okay. Bladebeard, what do you do in this time?
There is something I would like to try, but sounds really dumb. So I guess I'll try then. I'll try to, I don't know, go somewhere as far away as possible from Lugalga's chamber, to the front of the ship.
Sure.
I'm followed, I assume.
Of course, by Cherry and Ironbeard. Frignir also follows you, but you know that Frignir is on your side, but he's still tied up.
Uh, can I get some privacy? I would like to pray.
Frignier gives you a look and says, I do not know what that is, master, but I will comply with your request. And he moves to give you space. Another undead will follow Frignier, but Ironbeard and Cherry will still follow you.
Alright. Be my guest, I guess. I would like to...
you said that thing about privacy to them too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Frignier said, I will comply with your request. Ironbeard says nothing. Cherry spits on the ground.
Alright. Oh man. No, this is dumb. I'll
Stay true to your character.
but I realize something now. Never mind. I'll put my hand in the bag with the demon orb.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say I'll speak in Dwarven, even though Ironbeard maybe understands that. And I'll say, Oi, Holy Light, can you hear me?
With your hand on the communication device?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I speak in Dwarven.
You hear no reply, although where are you looking while you're doing this?
Towards the horizon.
So I'm trying to picture the bag is at your side, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You would notice a green glow emanating from your bag. Let me put the items on screen, by the way.
Is it too noticeable?
It is noticeable to everyone. But Cherry and Ironbeard don't react at the moment.
Alright, Holy Light. I would really like if you could save us from this storm, because the person that's creating the storm is right here on these coordinates. And I'm going to say where I think we are.
Sure. Give me a careful.
Or actually,
go ahead.
Can I say the coordinates to Golden Skull?
Yes.
And I'll just say it. And we are sailing north.
Okay. Sure. I will allow that. The green glow continues to emanate from your bag, but you hear no response.
Alright, Holy Light. If you don't save us, that's alright as well. I never believed in you. I know that paladins and priests exist, but not really my thing. So, amen, or whatever. And I'll remove my hand from the bag.
Mm-hmm. After you remove your hand, the green light continues to emanate for another 10 seconds before it goes away.
Right, I look towards my guardians.
They were staring unblinking at you. Cherry will say, "What was that, you bastard? What were you mumbling back there?"
I was praying.
Yeah. Right.
I'm really desperate right now. But
Make me unless you're using your stunt, make me a sneaky roll, and I'll oppose with Cherry's careful.
Actually, yeah, I'll use my stun. Sure.
then she will believe you were praying and you had like a magical rosary or something. She obviously doesn't know much about the light to like verify your claims. And because you used your stunt, yeah, she believes you as such.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been much of a believer, but who knows?
Cherry spits on the ground and says, "At this point, divine intervention will be necessary to save us from all this damn fate." No thanks to you, I should add.
I seem to only cause trouble.
You always only cause trouble. Remember that damn stint we had in Menifil Harbor? Why couldn't you keep your mouth shut back then? You remember what you forced me to do to pay your debt?
I do. Do I? DM.
Up to you, up to your character.
Oh.
It is
Yeah.
up to you.
I mean, it was no big deal. You just needed to, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what's the big deal? You just needed to.
I stank of ale for a month. Do you know how unpleasant that was?
Well, what's wrong with ale? I think the smell is actually quite pleasing.
You know, I would really kill you if I could right now.
I know. That's why it's fun that you're following me.
She desperately, she once again tries to make a motion of attacking you, and once again is stopped in her tracks. One mistake, Bladebeard. One mistake, and I will get the opportunity to gut you. Do you hear me?
I'm going to get really, really close to her.
She spits in your face.
It's raining. It's not a big deal.
I know, but she does that anyway.
I just walk away.
Good conversation, I guess. Okay. Anything else before we move to Benjamin?
No, I just I mean, I assume I summon the Legion to help us, and that's a clever move.
It's a move, all right. You're free to assume that if you like. Okay. Benjamin, after a 15 minutes or so, you said you were going to join the Archmage, correct?
Yep.
You find her at the back of the ship, also, as I mentioned, followed by 3 undead guards. You're also followed by a couple of undead as you go there. You find her, leaning over the railing at the back.
I guess we're quite popular. We seem to have a crowd following us everywhere.
She sighs and says, and will say to you, back then, that was, by the light, I don't, how could we ever be forgiven for what we just did?
I don't think it pleases anyone to aside. I'm not sure that's the right word, but honestly, if we die and refuse to do this, there is just no other option.
I've been thinking, well, 2 things, but first, I've been thinking about what she said, apotheosis. Do you know what that means?
I have a vague idea, but not really sure how that applies to her plans.
means to achieve godhood. Do you think she was speaking metaphorically, or do you think she had something in mind?
Considering the artifacts she's gathering and even her lineage, I honestly fear it might be literal.
She has an expression of fear, the Archmage.
And honestly, it will only get worse if she keeps getting these objects of power.
Well, while we were back there, I was contacted by our mutual friend. She waits to see if you have any reaction to that.
I can just perk up a bit.
Our old friend said that when the time comes, I should, well, they will be with me and we will have a chance to take Zulgalga down. What do you think of that?
I mean, honestly, I don't see any better plan right now, but again, the artifacts she's holding right now do worry me.
Honestly, the idea of our mutual friend, you'll notice that she keeps saying that she doesn't refer to it by name. You're free to infer whatever you'd like from that. The idea of our mutual friend potentially gaining Zulgalga's power is honestly even more terrifying than whatever Zulgalga has in mind.
I guess you are the distrusting type. At least in my opinion, it's always better than having this honestly crazy troll have them.
Do you trust our mutual friend with this situation?
Certainly more than Zulgalga.
Her eyes will widen. She'll say, Benjamin, I killed innocent people because of our mutual friend.
The thing is, I think the only way we can manage this is how did she contact you?
The Archmage will sigh and say, well, the same way she always spoke to me, and I presume spoke to you as well.
So, are you saying she can hear us? Or was it proximity?
I honestly don't know about either of those. I just know that back then, back at the dinner, our friend made this offer to me and said that I don't need to come up with a reply right away.
Well, I think she may be an asset, but of course we can't let her have what Zulgalga has.
So, let's say, I don't know, we interrupt Zulgalga in the middle of whatever ritual she does to achieve godhood or whatever, and I find myself with the dagger in hand. What should I do then?
Well, I think the first step would be avoiding getting the dagger in anyone's hands. But from personal experience, it's not something you can get rid of once it's in your hands. So, and I doubt you have the magic to seal it away.
I mean, you can throw it to the bottom of the ocean, but considering what we just saw came out of the ocean earlier today, I probably don't think that's a very good idea.
Well, I would assume her plan would come into fruition when we engage said ship, right?
I don't know about that. The way the troll put it, that ship is just an obstacle, not a serious block in her road.
Well, she seems the arrogant kind, and I'm sure it will distract her forces at least.
True, that's fair. So we should be ready then?
What did she tell you exactly?
That the Archmage will sigh and say simply that she's on our side, that when the moment comes, she will be by our side to defeat her.
Of course she would say that.
And that I don't need to accept her offer right now. I could think about it. The Archmage rolls her eyes.
I think we can clearly put aside that she's on our side. She's definitely on her own side, doing whatever she wants. But what I'm trying to figure out is what would she gain from betraying Zul'Gurgul, which seems like something of a perfect host for her.
Well, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but when she looks down, sorrowful, and says, when I killed someone with it, it drained their life, their energy. Zul'Gurgul is, well, a lot of energy.
Then I guess that would also be a problem for us.
That's why partly why I'm hesitant. But I have to imagine that Zul'Gurgul achieving this godhood she claims won't exactly be in our mutual friend's interest either.
I guess so, but what worries me is what kind of power the knife itself would have.
Precisely.
Without a host. Back when we fought you, she kind of took a life of her own after everything.
Whatever the case, she is not our friend, but is she our ally?
Maybe of convenience, but definitely not an ally per se. I think the important thing is trying to weigh what the lesser evil is, but honestly, since we don't really know Zelda, sorry, I didn't say that, okay. Since we don't know our mutual friends' plans, we can't really compare, aside from, well, knowing she's devious, to put it simply.
The Archmage nods and has like a concerned expression again and says, if we're ever in the situation where I do the things I did in the past alongside our mutual friend again, promise me you'll take my head then.
Are you still not convinced that it was her influence that made you do those things?
I know it wasn't just her influence.
Well, she is an exploiter. That's her thing.
All the more reason why I should ask you.
Well, I will say this. I will first try my best to have it not end that way.
The Archmage nods at you and says, "Thank you, Benjamin."
Well, I hate to push on these memories again, but didn't she give you any hints on what her goals were aside from, well, getting more power?
You mean back when me and the mutual friend were on the same side?
Yes.
No, just that she could help me achieve whatever she wanted, and the only thing she asked in exchange was the opportunity to mass more power.
So I guess all we know is that she wants power. And Zogalga wants godhood, which I guess also equates to power.
And the demons of Buhd Bay, I'm guessing, also want power, or vengeance, or whatever.
I mean, it's not like I've seen any demons with good intentions, so that is a given.
True. But I'm honestly, if a Felguard came to me and offered me what our mutual friend did, I'd sooner trust it at this point.
Well, I guess you did have to. So, what do you think we should do?
I mean, that's why I asked you. I can... Honestly, maybe this is just my training as a current Tor scholar speaking, but my main intuition is to wait and see, to learn more. What does Zulgaga plan? What does apotheosis mean for her exactly? What does Zalotef... what does our mutual friend want?
Yeah, you do have a point there. She did say that we would have some time to think, so it would perhaps be best to keep our ears. Wait, what does it give us?
To the ground?
Yeah, exactly. And
Go ahead.
keep gathering more information.
She nods and says, "Do you plan on telling this to Bladebeard or Buhd or Lyri?"
It's probably not for the best at the moment.
The Archmage nods and says, "Trust your judgment, Benjamin."
No.
Sort of like changing the subject, she'll say, "When Zulgaga mentioned we were heading towards a ship, she looked at Lyri for a bit before she said that. Do you think it's a Blood Elf ship?"
I mean, that's probably one of the few guesses. My other guess would be something relating to her, but I'm not sure Zulgaga would know anything about that.
The Archmage nods and says, "What would Blood Elves be doing here anyway?" Sorry, I'm thinking about the Alliance Horde war instead of our current predicament.
Relating to that, can I ask you a favor?
Shoot.
If they do force us to attack the ship, could you avoid killing anyone if it is Blood Elves?
I will try. Obviously, our rivalry with the Horde and my personal enmity towards Blood Oaths would have to wait in the face of the current situation, but it might be the case where if I don't throw a frostbolt at the Blood Oath in front of me, the undead at my back will shove a dagger in my hind.
Well, just keep it in mind. Of course, if it's a matter of you or them, well, you know.
I will try, obviously. I'm obviously not on our host's side by any means.
It's more of a try not to make more enemies type of situation, in my opinion.
The Archmage nods. So at this point, above board, would, unless Lyri is back, Zelris rather is back, would any of you be doing anything else before we reach the other ship?
I don't think so.
Not really. Maybe regroup. All of us leaving.
Yeah.
Sure, but I think we can save the regrouping for next time when Zelris will also be here. What do you all think?
Yeah, I think that will work.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so cut the episode here.
Yeah, I think that's for the best, I guess.
Okay, sure. So, thoughts on today's episode?
Not exactly what I was expecting, but also what I was expecting, I guess. Like,
We're not being viciously murdered, so I guess.
yeah, I had like two ideas. Either one, she was gonna convert us forcefully, making us ghouls, or two, she was gonna do what she did.
Well, regarding converting you forcefully, I wouldn't force that big of a transformation on your characters, if that makes sense.
I guess it's just I assumed the worst because she captured us, and I was like, well, we're at her mercy. So it's like,
Yeah, but she found a use for you. By the way, I didn't specify it during this session, and it's not particularly important, but the reason why she chose you guys, well, Bladebeard she chose just to fuck with Bladebeard, but mostly she chose you guys because you're the guys who defeated the Storm's Whale, which was supposed to be like her super duper mega weapon.
was that the Kraken?
No, that's the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We should have asked her about what's the deal with that. But yeah.
I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about it because it was I mean, it almost defeated us, but you know, I did straight up forget about it because the ship exploding took more precedent over the spooky, scary ghost.
Understandable, yeah. Also, I hope you guys didn't mind about the meal choice for today. I mean, you guys as in you guys the players. I know the characters minded, obviously.
No, that's fine. We're used to eating people, honestly.
Sure. It was. I kind of meant for it to be a surprise, but DoomGoblin spoiled it in the beginning.
I honestly was expecting that female Teeironor we spoke about the other day, since you said you had another fate for her.
Above board, DoomGoblin, I was looking for a way to make your other crew member, the female Teeironor, from your backstory, into an undead, but I couldn't find like an undead female Teeironor model that would suit her, so I changed her fate. That's what we were talking about. She has a different fate. She's not undead.
Oh, all right.
Interesting. I mean, but that doesn't necessarily mean she is good, but yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Other thoughts on today's session. It was a bit of a shorter one, but I think that was warranted given the circumstances. I wasn't going to force you into combat, although obviously if you would have started combat, we would have done so. And by the way, your consequence will go away, Thompshire. Go ahead, Skoll.
I think we really needed just a laxed one this time around, so I think that works out actually, because a lot has happened lately, so it's fine with just, eating people as the main thing, I guess, and having, a powwow of what's to happen.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to hear that, I suppose. By the way, I'm curious, did you see the twist about the orc coming or not?
I
No,
actually didn't.
I didn't.
I just thought it was a random ass orc, because I really didn't think that far ahead. I was like, because when I think of the antagonist, I was like, oh, he's just a, first generation Death Knight. I didn't really think of like, oh, I wonder what happened to the body. I'd never thought of that. So
Yeah, I knew that he was a warlock because green fire or great fire, like you said at the beginning. But I thought he was just maybe part of his team or something from back in Second or First War.
I didn't
think
know.
he was
Yeah,
the Death Knight.
I didn't know that he was a warlock. Actually, I kind of just thought, oh, he's just possessed by Zolgaga. He's just a more powerful agent of hers that is terrifying, and that was about it. I didn't think that it had any relationship with the main villain.
I mean, when rather Buhd fought him on Golden Skull, he fought back with green fire, and I was thinking in the back of my mind, oh, that's a dead giveaway because no one else in Zulgaga's army uses fell magic.
Yeah, no, I didn't catch up on that at all. I didn't pick up on it, and I was just like, this guy is really terrifyingly strong. He must be one of her more powerful dudes, and that was it. I didn't really think too much on it after that.
Well, I'm glad I was able to keep that surprise hidden, I guess. Also, Thompshire, we were talking about why he would, we were talking about the clothes he was wearing. I guess the choice makes sense now. I hope.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But, would you have told me if I had already made the orc model? The when we talked like back then about the flashback.
Probably, because I think it would be more important for like the model and the clothes to be consistent. But fortunately, the model did not exist yet. The actual model, I guess. Future render, etc. So all well and good. I'm kind of glad I kind of spoiled about the incoming ship, what it's going to be. But Zelris turned out to be absent, and I'm kind of glad that I was able to still convey that information so that it's not a spoiler exactly, but yeah. That makes sense. By the way, I hear an echo. Zelris, are you back? No, I guess not. Never mind. Any other thoughts for our viewers before we go into our stuff?
I don't think I've got anything.
Okay. Well, thank you to everyone for watching and listening to us. This was a light session in terms of combat, but a heavy one in terms of lore, so all's well and good. Next episode, dear viewers, shall be posted on Shorties channel, etc. So I'd very much like to ask these lovely people to introduce themselves and talk about them. Well, yeah, promote themselves, etc. And I rolled some dice in the background. the dice have decided that the first person to go should be DoomGoblin. Could you please go? No, wrong screen. Don't look, everyone. This is the screen. So DoomGoblin, could you please go ahead and talk about yourself?
Yeah. Hello, it's me, DoomGoblin. I play the Captain Bladebeard, or Captive Bladebeard.
Ha ha ha.
And yeah, usually I draw stuff, and I post it on the internet. I have a Twitter at DoomGoblin. And yeah,
That you do. Next,
me.
Next, according to the dice, would be Skoll. Could you please go ahead?
Hey, yep. I was Buhd, the lovable first mate / captain / whatever. And I make YouTube videos about WoW, lore, machinimas, etc. What if scenarios, quite a lot. Just a lot of stuff on WoW. And eventually on other stuff, I don't know when. And you can find me on, obviously, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and yeah, I think that's about it.
Everyone's links are on screen and in the description below.
Yeah.
Thank you, Skoll. Next, according to the dice, would be Zelris. Zelris played the Blood of Lyri. She is a really talented machinimator that makes really fancy looking stuff, honestly, that you can see on screen. She mostly posts on Twitter. I encourage you to follow her on Twitter to see like the latest scam, for lack of a better term, that she posts. You'll see what I mean when you do so. That was Zelris. Next, according to the dice, would be Sir Thompshire. Could you please go ahead and talk about yourself?
Sure. I usually, or lately, I've been just doing some model edits and renders for Twitter, but when I have the energy, I also make machinima that I post on YouTube, and yeah, check me out on both.
Thank you, Thompshire. And I was your DM, Game Master Teeironor. I usually do videos focusing on various video game lore. I've been doing a lot of Elder Scrolls lore lately, and it's been a lot of fun to make those kinds of videos. And also videos on like history, because I got a master's degree and a bachelor's in history too. So yeah, feel free to check me out. Again, our links are on screen and in the description below. So, thank you to everyone for watching and listening to us. We shall be back next week on Skoll Shorties channel, and we shall see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.